Hey everybody, going to do a little flea market segment right now. Not sure whether or not this is going to get buried in the middle of another video or if it'll be a standalone video depending on how long it runs. Haven't been to the flea market in a few weeks, been camping and busy with other things. Finally get around to the flea market. Unfortunately I wasn't able to really get any deals on tools or anything. A lot of the guys that I buy tools from, they've kind of taken the summer off too because the traffic is really down at the flea market, and they're not putting a lot of effort into building their inventory. They're just starting to get into it now as we move into fall, because they know that as the fall and winter hits, that's when they get busier there at the flea market. Anyways, out in the parking lot of the flea market, I saw this with some other stuff, and caught my eye from a distance, and as I got up closer I said, it's a little more beat up than I wished. There's a big dent on the top here, but I'm going to hang it up on the wall. I don't really care about that. Kind of liked, it's got a place for a padlock if I want to lock stuff in here. Comes with 3 adjustable shelves that I can put on these hooks that are in here, so I can get a nice little storage unit out of this thing. And of course, outside there's nobody there babysitting it, and just had a sign said "See Ed." I think that's what it was. So I went inside and found Ed. So what are you gonna get for that wall cabinet? He says, I don't know, $15. I said sure. $15. Little metal cabinet. I kind of like the look of it. Even though it's kind of in rough shape. And then my wife saw the cabinet when I brought it home. She was as thrilled as always. But later that day, she was shopping at Walmart. She happened to spy cans of white spray paint on markdown for 99 cents a can. She bought me a couple of cans and brought them home and said, here you go if you want to spruce up your cabinet dirt cheap. So at some point I'll throw some paint on the outside of this. I figure what I'll do is I'll mask off these front doors, because I kind of want to keep the doors the way they are. I like this Whitaker Automotive Wire and Cable Products logo that's on here, and Whitaker's Supronic 3 spark plug cable sets with exclusive limited lifetime warranty. And then somebody stuck some other less popular stickers on here. What do you got here? Coastal Distributing Company. I don't even know what that company sells. Good old STP. Walker Advantage mufflers. Be a nice little cabinet for here in the shop. Alright, bringing the camera a little bit tighter here so we can look at my slim pickings at the well, I spied this this big reamer, and this has got a old clearance sticker of $2 on it, so at some point somebody had priced this for $2, and then looks like it sat around for a long time with that price on it. Either that or maybe somebody bought it and just never took the sticker off. I don't know. Anyways, this is the only machinist tool this guy happened to have amongst his junk. I do mean junk. There was some real junk there, including this reamer maybe, I don't know. But I looked at the flutes on it, and actually I don't see any big chunks taken out of them, so I figure maybe it's actually a usable reamer. I don't quite understand this style, because it almost looks like these cutters sit down in these grooves as separate pieces, and then there's a hole in the bottom there, and at first I thought this was an adjustable reamer, but I don't believe it is, because that seems solid in the center there. So I don't really know what the story is with this thing. It does, I can clearly see it's a 3/4 inch, and let me just see if I can get a name for you off of this thing. Oh, this is interesting. This is marked 3/4 here, but then up here is the name of the maker, and it looks like I clearly see John M. period, but I can't make out this last part here. It's definitely R. Okay, R-O, I got it, Rogers. This is John M. Rogers, Gloucester. Now we have a Gloucester with the same spelling here in Massachusetts, but this is not, this does not look like Massachusetts. It looks like Gloucester N. Dot, I don't know, it doesn't quite look like a C, so I don't think it's Gloucester, North Carolina, if there is one. But there's a very strange little squiggly looking marking right here, and now that I look at it, it's repeated on this side. I can clearly see it is marked USMC in a very kind of unique little scroll way there. So I'm wondering if that's United States Marine Corps. Don't know. But so it's a 3/4 inch reamer. You know, I don't know if it'd be worth a lick once I clean it up, but what the heck. So I actually, so yeah, he had $2, was this old price on here, and he just had it in there with a bunch of junk. And I was thinking, geez, you know, this thing, it's so, just because of the condition and everything, and the rust, I was like, I don't even know if I want to pay $1 for this thing. So I actually said, hey, I found he had this Torx screwdriver. This is an SK T20 size. Looks brand new. Looks like it's barely been used. And so I grabbed that and that. And I said, take $1 for that? He said, yeah, sure. This is the same guy I bought the cabinet from, so I already broke the ice on the cabinet deal. So got that for $1. Went in the back room, saw another guy, came across one 12mm Craftsman wrench in excellent shape. Didn't want to pay $1 for that. Found one other Craftsman and another draw a 1/2 inch, a little more beat up. Take $1 for that? Yeah, sure. My regular tool guy that I usually try and get some machinist tools from, who told me he hasn't bought anything all summer, happened to be sitting there and looked and saw this box. It was a box for Brad's, but what he's got in here, that's just junk hardware. What he's got in here is he's got washers. Look at that sucker, big one like that. Several washers. There's a fender washer. Big lock washer. Couple of big lock washers. So what do you want for that? He says, I'll take $1. It's alright. Always nice to have some big washers. Imagine what it goes to, you know, what it costs me to go to the store and buy that washer if I end up needing one like that. So that was that. Told you the pickings were slim. Then this isn't a flea market find. I got one other flea market item. Before I get to that, I want to show you this. My neighbor. I guess his father was a machinist, and he's got he had some old stuff still kicking around, and he came across this, and he says, hey, you want this? I helped him out with a couple things, and we're pals, so got this. Saw the Starrett box, got pretty excited there, and well, what do you know? It's a nice Starrett caliper, and you know the box smells musty, and the foam is dry rotting from age, but the caliper itself really looks to be in excellent shape. I noticed every time I come back to close the jaws, it comes back right on, dead on 0. But I'll tell you, I like it. I like it a lot. I got my Pittsburgh Tools digital one that I just picked up, but as far as for greater accuracy, you know, I don't think you can beat a good old original Starrett. So this one's actually marked 200 Rogers Corp is engraved on it, and then on the back here there's a sticker. Actually says Rogers Calibration Certification number 2000, 15 February 1994 by, and then his initials, and then it's due for recalibration and 18 February 1994, and then
says here it was due for recalibration 18th of August the same year. So apparently they figure you go about 8 months between recalibrating the calipers. So apparently he was doing some precision work wherever he was working. So anyways, that is a very nice gesture. And you know, if you talk about if tools, you know, the stories that tools could tell if they could talk, I'd be really interested to know what that was used on. Anyways, that was a nice freebie. I always like that. So back to the flea market. So I'm going down the back room there, and I'm going by a vendor who I rarely spot anything that catches my interest. And lo and behold, on this day I'm going by and I see this wooden case. Interesting wooden case. And it was open. I could just see in the top here. This manual actually wasn't in there, and I just saw the cables in that, and I says, oh, well, what do we got here? So I start looking at it, and lo and behold, what we got is we got a Sears automotive analyzer, model 161.21042 for 12 and 24 volt ignition systems. So we've got a nice little tray caddy that comes out the top here. And in here we've got our various leads. I don't know if all the leads are present. That alligator clip's got some corrosion on it, so this was in a damp environment, I believe. So I don't know if this is going to work a lick, but I pull this out. The inside of this case has got a thin foam lining on all four sides, and this thing fits in there kind of tight. So now I had a conversation with him about this, because I was looking at it and I was like, oh, you know, first I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But as soon as I saw what it was, I kind of lost interest in it. I was thinking, you know, what the heck am I going to do with that thing? And we got to talking about it, and you know, he's trying to be a salesman. I take a look in the back. It was a D-size battery right here that was leaking acid, and a 9-volt transistor battery over here that was leaking. And I say to him, I said, look, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to take these batteries out, because you know, they're just leaking and they're corroding these connections here. So I popped that one out, and he said, yeah, just leave it off to the side. I'll throw them out. And then I went to pop the 9-volt out, and the little connector right here that goes on the battery, the damn thing broke off. It was corroded enough and stuck to the battery so badly. So I put that in the bag. I showed him. I popped it off the battery, and I showed him, and I put it in the bag here. I says, you know, whoever gets this is going to want to have that. We talked a little bit more, and I said, well, what are you going to get for it? He says, make me an offer. I said, $20. Oh, he says, I was hoping to get 100. And I said, oh, well, he says, I tell you what, can you do 40? I said, no. I said, you know, I wasn't even that attached to it to begin with. I said, and then we talked a little more, and I said to him, you know, it's just not something I really have a use for off the top of my head. And then, so how about $30? I said, nah. I said, you know, I'm sure it's probably very reasonable for it. I mean, I don't even know if it works, but I'm assuming that's probably fairly reasonable for it. So I told him, I said, you know, I didn't mean to tell you your trade and everything, but it seems to me if you kept this out, closed the box and kept this out on top, people come walking by, this would catch their eye with the big meter and everything. You might get more interest in it. And so I was gonna set it up on the top there so that it'd be all nice and displayed for him. And the next thing I know, he's telling me, he says, you know what, take it for $20. So I now own it for 20. And like I said, I didn't really want it, but I thought about it. I said, you know, what's kind of neat about it is it's an engine analyzer for older vehicles that have points in condenser ignition. But wouldn't you know it, I'm thinking about when I finally get around to messing around with my International Harvester tractor over there, or one of my other older gas engine tractors at some point. They all have points ignition on them, so why the heck not? You know, if the only thing I'm able to use this for is as a tachometer that runs off of the point trigger, I'm satisfied. And it actually looks like it's got some other neat, you know, little features. I'll have to read the manual at some point if I really want to get that involved in it. But you know, I think it's got a way to check the continuity of the points to see how good they are. It's got, like I said, it's got the tack. It's got a built-in ohm meter, resistance meter. It's got an alternator test. Not sure how that works. Here's your cables hook up here. You got RPM pickup, ohms, and other tests, and amps. So, I don't know what this is going to do when I put a battery in it, if anything. Don't know if it'll work at all, but for 20 bucks I took a chance. Got a neat box, if nothing else. I do think actually all the cables are here now that I look at it, because they're color coded. There's the blue one. There's the white one. There's the red one. Oh, okay, and there's the black one. So I see all the cables look like they're here. It's got this thing that goes right on the battery post. Side terminal or top terminal battery post. So, I thought that was kind of neat. The hell do I know?